Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Sun Sports.
Friday night provided plenty of fireworks on the field. Last night saw the Red Sox continue their winning ways. And today the Rays turn to crafty left-hander Eric Bedard to get the team back on track. It's the Rays and Red Sox right now on Sun Sports. After all of the mayhem through the first two games of this series in Boston, we have a gorgeous day at Fenway Park as the Rays wrap up this three-game series against the Boston Red Sox. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an afternoon of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson. I'm Dwayne Stats. Great to have you aboard. Todd Callis along in just a few moments. Well, the Rays still looking for their first win on this road trip. The Red Sox have turned a 10-game losing streak into a 6-game winning streak.
What a difference a week makes. I mean, it was 1 week ago today that the Rays were sending the Red Sox to their 10th straight loss and wrapping up a weekend series sweep. And it has been a complete turnaround by the Boston Red Sox. First of all, they've outscored their opponents in the last 6 games, 32-15. That breaks out to 5.3 runs a game, a team batting average of almost 300. Look what they're doing with runners in scoring position. Clutch. They're getting opportunities. They're getting guys in. And oh, by the way, on top of all that, they're catching the ball. Starting pitching has been very good. The bullpen has been even better, as you can see with the 2.45 earned run average. So right now, this Boston Red Sox team is a juggernaut. The Rays are going to have to play their best today to slow them down.
Well, against this lineup, the Rays will send the 35-year-old left-hander Eric Bedard, who did pitch well against this club here at the end of April.
Well, you know, Eric Bedard had a streak of 5 straight starts giving up 1 earned run or fewer come to an end his last time out against the Blue Jays. However, he'll be looking to start a new streak today, and that's when that streak started. The 5 streak start, it was here April the 29th. He came out very aggressive against this lineup. They like to see a lot of pitches. They're second most walks in Major League Baseball, so they like to work counts. If Eric Bedard can come out today and once again establish the strike zone early, he's got a chance to have a nice outing.
Injuries continue to be an issue for the Rays, and when we come back, Todd Callis will update us on the Will Myers situation. Sports is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Checkers. Checkers brings big flavor for a small price. Feed your craving for quality for only $1. Cha-ching. Sun shining here at Fenway Park. Rays and the Red Sox square off. This will be the 9th meeting of the season between these two clubs. 9 of 19. The Rays have won 5 and lost 3, but have not seen a victory here in Fenway or on this road trip. Right now, let's go down to Todd Callis to get the latest on the injury situation.
Yeah, you're right, Dwayne. On Friday night, the game ended in walk-off fashion with A.J. Pierzynski hitting a triple into right center field. It was perfectly placed between Will Myers and Desmond Jennings. There you see the outcome as Myers got his glove on the ball, but then tripped over Jennings in the process. Hurt his right wrist. It is being ruled as a sprained right wrist as of now. Had x-rays yesterday here in Boston. Flew home to Florida. He'll be seen by team Dr. Coco Eaton tomorrow. Jerry Sands, who played with the Durham Bulls last night, is here in Boston, right slotted into the cleanup spot. You can see his numbers with Durham this year. His 9th home run came in last night's game. That's the roster move, guys. Back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. And I guess as well as Sands was swinging the bat and hit that home run at AAA Durham last night, he's swinging the bat well. Joe Maddon's going to have him right in the middle of the Rays lineup today. Let's take a look at the Rays lineup. It's presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Ben Zobrist will lead it off. He'll be followed by Desmond Jennings and then Evan Longoria. Jerry Sands will be the DH and hit cleanup. Sean Rodriguez in left with Logan Forsythe at second. James Loney in the 7th spot at first in front of Jose Molina. Kevin Kiermaier will be in right field and Bad Night.
Well, taking the mound this afternoon for the Boston Red Sox is their big left-hander, John Lester, making his 12th start of the season. The record just 5-6, but that earned run average at 3.45, very good. And you can also see right here, he is having his best season with the strikeout, 83 strikeouts in 73 innings of work. He's going to come at you with the fastball, the cutter, curveball, and changeup, and he's going to be very aggressive. Let's take a look at that Boston defense as it lines up behind him. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Stores. In the outfield, left to right, Johnny Gomes, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Alex Hassan. Across the infield, third to first, Jonathan Herrera, Xander Bogaerts, Dustin Pedroia, and Brock Holt. David Ross will be behind the plate.
There's John Farrell, the skipper of this Boston ball club. It's been a tough start to this year for Farrell, but much better recently on the heels of that long losing streak. And there's Joe Maddon. Joe continues to be patient, relying upon the process to get this club back to where he thinks it should be.
And really, you know, he doesn't have much choice. And that's just the way that he's got to do it. Try to, you know, the injury bug has started to crop up a little bit, hit the pitching staff. Now it's making its way through the position players. So you mix and match and hope for the best.
Well, Ben Zobrist will lead it off against John Lester, 31-year-old left-hander. And the first pitch of this game, presented by Pinch a Penny, is in there for a strike. Zobrist originally penciled in the lineup in right field. Take strike 2, but Escobar unable to go at shortstop, so from right to short goes Zobrist, and Kiermaier, a late replacement, in the lineup, and he'll play right. There's strike 3 call. 3 pitches, 1 out. Zobrist thought the pitch was wide.
He never got the bat off of his shoulder. That was a clinic put on by John Lester in that at-bat. Fastball, middle in, strike 1. Slow curve, strike 2. And then dots up right there on the edge, close enough for strike 3.
So one away, and here's Desmond Jennings. He takes the ball. Desmond hitting .234. Close pitch for ball 2. 2-0.
And two of those pitches right there by Lester looking to be down in the zone, maybe right at the bottom. Both not called, so maybe that starts to tell you something about today's strike zone. Going to be a little bit higher, maybe a little bit wider.
DJ Rayburn calling the balls and strikes. Chopper foul to the Rays dugout.
John Lester primarily fastball, cutter, curveball to the right-handed hitters, fastball, cutter primarily to the lefties, occasional curveball. Doesn't go to the changeup very much.
Swing and a miss by Jennings.
And that's that cutter. You know, his four-seam fastball will get up into that 93, 94, 95 range at times. This right here at 91, a little bit of cutting action you can see down and in on Desmond Jennings. Very sharp with his pitches early.
Tried to shoot that corner, didn't get the call that time. And the count is full. On deck, Evan Longoria. That will force another 3-2 pitch to Desmond.
And you could see on that swing right there, Desmond Jennings was shortening up on that swing. Just trying to protect, put the ball in play. That's something that the Rays have really emphasized this year. Put the ball in play, give yourself a chance, force the defense to have to make a play on you.
And ball 4. Lester looking for a call there that never came.
Well, that was outside of the body of David Ross. This right here looks like a strike. It looks like a good pitch. But because David Ross catches it outside of his body, doesn't get the call. That looked to be right on the corner. But see, he wants it in. And reaching out there away like that, sometimes you don't present it well, you don't get the call.
1 on with 1 out for Evan Longoria. Longo with 4 career home runs off Lester. Takes a pitch away.
Well, let's hope that that holds true, because I think that's what everybody's waiting for, is for Evan Longoria to break out with the power swing. And I mean where he just jumps out and jerks a couple of pitches.
Well, you can only imagine the positive jolt that would give this lineup and this entire ball club.
We talked about the numbers on Friday night. When the Rays are winning, Evan Longoria is a huge contributor. When he's not contributing, they flat out lose. That's just the way it goes.
And those numbers are stark. 2 balls and a strike to count.
I mean, he is the...
It's well over 330 when they win, and when this team loses, he's down in the low 200s.
Yeah, and so if he's able to break out in a big way, that will energize that entire dugout, an entire ball club.
It's too close. 3-1 the count to Evan Longoria. These are the counts that you take advantage of. Evan Longoria 3-1. You know, Lester's got to come in, doesn't want to walk 2 guys in a row here at the beginning of the game. Should get a pitch to hit. And that's a strike. Evan thought he had drawn the walk.
Well, you know, that pitch down and away, or just away, has been inconsistently called here in the early going. Ben Zobrist on a borderline pitch was rung up. That's a borderline pitch. Yeah, Desmond Jennings walked on a pitch that was much better than that. So right now, trying to establish that outside corner.
The chopper toward the hole, backhanded by Bogaerts, but no place to go with it. And that will be an infield hit. As it turns out, he didn't hit the ball all that hard, but it was perfectly placed. And the Rays have 2 men on.
Well, Jonathan Herrera playing third base today. He's obviously going to make the effort to try to get over and cut this ball off. Just a chopper. You would assume that a normal infield defense is going to make a play on that, but the way that they were positioned, it gets by Herrera. Nothing Bogarts can do coming from that far away. And the Rays with 2 base runners here in the first.
That brings up Jerry Sands, who has just joined the ball club from Durham, hit a home run in their game last night against Lehigh Valley. The pitch to him is in there for a strike.
Yeah, this Rays lineup, always interesting when we come to the ballpark, especially so today. You know, Jerry Sands has been up for a couple of hours now, and he finds himself right in the middle, smack dab in the cleanup spot.
Well, here's a guy throughout his minor league career has shown great power and pretty good pop to all fields. 1 ball, 1 strike. He was in the Dodgers system, and he was involved in that big trade between the Dodgers and the Red Sox that involved Carl Crawford and Adrian Gonzalez and Beckett. James Loney was in that deal. It's a foul ball. And then Sands went over to Pittsburgh. In fact, part of that deal with Pittsburgh involved Brock Holt, who's played so well for the Red Sox.
You know, and I wonder this, Dwayne, and maybe I'm going off the deep end here, but you know, Joe Madden is not a go into the clubhouse, flip over the spread table, yell, scream guy. That's not the way that he's going to get his message across. We also know him to be a guy that when he does something, it's well thought out. And maybe taking Jerry Sands fresh out of the minor leagues and putting in the cleanup spot is a message to his offense. You better get it going. Yeah. Because right now he's my best option in the 4-hole. And maybe he sends a subtle message that way, because I guarantee you.
Ooh, strike 3 called on that outside corner.
Knowing how, and that was a good pitch there by Lester, very similar to how he got Ben Zobrist. But how clubhouses work are, you know, players are in there milling about. Hey, they hear Jerry Sands is coming up. Jerry Sands is getting the call up. And then they see that he's in the 4-hole. The message will reverberate. Get it together.
And that's an interesting line of thought and chain of reasoning there. But you're right. You're never quite sure what the lineup's going to look like. And this clubhouse, because of the way Madden puts together lineups and distributes playing time, is so unique in regard to the clubs that I think either one of us have been around. I mean, who has ever seen the variation of lineups that we see with Joe Madden? And not only this year, it's just year in and year out.
I don't think, for me, I don't even think it would have been that big of a deal if he took anybody on this team and put him. But to take a guy that just got called up, I just think that that's Joe's way of, and I could be wrong. I absolutely could be wrong. But I know Joe, when he does things, he does them. There's a lot of times there's a reason behind it. It's well thought out, and maybe this is his way of sending the message. Because like I said, he's not going to go in there and rabble-rouse and flip stuff and yell at guys and get it going. He's not going to do that. But he'll send the message another way.
Sean Rodriguez behind in the count, 0-2. And, of course, the other side of that is he just looks at the matchup. This guy's got some power. He's swinging the bat well right now. Hit a home run last night at AAA. I'm going to put him in there and see what happens.
And that's fine. But that still sends a message to those guys. It still sends a message when the manager says, my best bet for a cleanup spot is not going to come from this clubhouse. Yeah. It's coming from Durham, and he's coming Sunday morning. They'll still, even if that's his train of thought, and it absolutely might be, I guarantee you those guys down in that clubhouse have taken heed.
2 strikes the count to Sean Rodriguez. Chopper, shortstop. Bogarts will make the play to first. Walk and an infield hit. 2 left, no runs. Bottom of the first coming, no score. Here on a gorgeous day. It's 63 degrees in Boston here at Fenway. The Red Sox starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Brock Holt's going to lead it off at first base. Xander Bogaerts and then Dustin Pedroia. David Ortiz, the DH, followed by Johnny Gomes. Alex Hassan is in right. David Ross behind the plate. Jackie Bradley Jr. in center. Jonathan Herrera is at third base.
Well, taking the mound this afternoon, left-hander Eric Bedard making his 9th start of the season. 2-3 record, 4.10 earned run average. Had a start here at the end of April against these Red Sox. Threw the ball very well, looking to do the same today.
And Brock Holt takes the first pitch. It's a bit outside. He connected in the game last night. Third inning home run, 2-run shot for Holt.
When watching that ball jump off his bat, you know, going out to the Boston bullpen, that's big boy land.
Well, he's played only 21 games, but has made an impact in this Boston lineup. 1-1 to count to him.
He sure has. That average over 300. Of course, the home run last night.
Wide, it's 2-1.
Yeah, we've seen Brock Holt exclusively at third base. Today, he flip-flops. He's playing first base. He gets that home run last night. Now he's a corner infielder with pop.
2-2. Ninth start of the year for Bedard. He's trying to even his record on the year. 2-3 right now. And he goes all the way to 3-2 on Holt.
And that's going to be the key today for Bedard, to pitch like he did the last time that he was here. Attack the strike zone. Don't let that game in Toronto where he got hit around a little bit affect the way that you go about your business today. This is a team, they want to see pitches. They want these deep counts.
Fly ball into left. Sean Rodriguez will go to the wall. It's going to bang off the wall. He'll have to chase it. Holt around second and stops right there. Well, Rodriguez kept drifting back to the wall, and there is a point there when you have to make a decision.
This is one of the things that the Rays worked on a ton the first time that they came in. Because if you go back too far, too close to the wall like Sean does right here, you end up chasing the ball back towards the infield. By the time you realize it's off the wall, now it's over your head, and you've got to chase this back to the infield. It doesn't hurt him in this particular instance, but that is something to watch, playing the ball off that wall and playing it correctly to keep guys from taking extra bases.
6th double of the year for Brock Holt. Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop. This young infielder has been very hot at the plate. Hitting over 300. The pitch is high, a ball, no strikes. Slugging percentage pushing 440, and he's third in the league in on base percentage right now. Takes a strike. 1-1.
This is where, you know, this turnaround for the Boston Red Sox has been pretty dramatic this last week. I mean, the Rays left them for dead last Sunday.
And they looked it.
Yes,
when
they
they
did.
left. They were staggering through that losing streak, but they have certainly turned it around with this 6-game winning streak on the heels of dropping 10 in a row. The major league record for consecutive wins following a double-digit losing streak is 7. They've won 6. And Bogaerts out in front. That's out number 1. Strikeout number 1 on the change.
Now, the change up by Eric Bedard, and not his best, but the change of speed was good enough. And that got Bogaerts way too quick with the swing.
And this is an interesting, dilemma that Bedard has put himself into, because runner in scoring position, that turnaround for the Red Sox, they have been outstanding with runners in scoring position. Their average of 357, now down a couple of points. But Eric Bedard this year has been great with runners in scoring position, holding the opposition to an average of, 191. That went down a couple of points. So these tough spots, he's been able to make big pitches.
The opposition hitting 255 against him overall. So you can see the significant decline there. One strike, first pitch is in there to Dustin Pedroia.
That's why Greg Maddux used to throw bullpens, and he used to throw them almost exclusively out of the stretch.
How much sense does that make?
Absolutely. And they asked him, well, why? He said, because this is when out of the stretch is where I'm going to have to make my toughest pitches. So that's where I want to work. Out of the windup, it's easy. Nobody's on. But I work out of the stretch and my side days because that's when I'm going to have to make my toughest pitches. That's Greg Maddux. That's why he was who he was.
It's a 1-1 count to Dustin Pedroia. That's a fly ball for Sean Rodriguez out there in left. 2 gone.
Well, let's take a quick look at the Rays defense as it lines up behind Eric Bedard this afternoon. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield, left to right, Sean Rodriguez, Desmond Jennings, and Kevin Kiermaier. Across the infield, third to first, Longoria, Zobrist, Forsythe, and Loney. Jose Molina behind the plate.
Well, we've seen Kevin Kiermaier in the outfield before in center. He's in right field today. Great arm, good speed, great defender. And he's out there patrolling right field and a lot of territory to cover at Fenway. Now David Ortiz. No ball, no strikes. Ortiz one hit in this series. That was an RBI single in the 5th inning of Friday's game. One and one to count.
Boy, it got interesting after the game on Friday night, didn't it?
Certainly did.
David Ortiz took what happened on the field and punched it up a couple of notches.
Yeah, well, he's done that before.
I thought David Price's response, I don't think you could have handled the situation any better on the field or in talking to the media than David did.
Yeah.
Price, that is.
Yeah, that's right. 2 and 1. I mean, Ortiz declared that the war is on. He called him a few names and all of that. Okay, fine. And David Price said, look, if he says he doesn't respect me, that's okay. I really don't mind.
Got a lot more people that respect me more now.
Yeah. And I think that's absolutely true.
Well, he took, it was old school baseball, what he did. And I love his response to that, too. I got to establish my fastball inside, and that's where I'm going to try and pitch him.
And I tell you, more of that will make him even better than he's been.
Agreed. David even made that point himself. He said, Nick, go talk to pitchers from 10, 15, 20 years ago. That's just a normal part of the game.
Without question. Something that, frankly, that we've talked about in the past. And ball 4. And the other side of that is this. And that point has been made here, even in the Boston press, that if a hitter's going to hit a couple of home runs, and David Price said that had nothing to do with it, well, maybe it did, maybe it didn't, probably did. But if a hitter's going to hit a home run and preen about it, you have to understand that there's a price for that. And if you're going to take exception and call people names because of your preening, and when you pay the price, it just doesn't ring true. There's not a lot of credibility in that.
No. The problem is it's not paid often enough. you're allowed to get away with it for so long that you're conditioned.
Yep.
I hit a home run, I preen, there's no reaction, there's no response.
Yep.
And that's what you do. And then all of a sudden when there is one, how dare you? No.
Yeah.
No, you just ran into a guy that was done with it.
Yeah, and that's, to me, a big step forward for David Price.
Amen.
I mean, you look at his trophy case and what he's accomplished. He's got great stuff, and if you're going to be around the strike zone as aggressively as he is, you're going to have to do that on occasion. You're not out headhunting.
No.
But you're out establishing your territory. You're going to have to do that to survive and be successful. And I think that's a major step and a reason that the Rays and the fans of David Price should be optimistic as to what happened here 2 nights ago. I think that's a great move in the right direction for David and the Rays going forward. 1-0 the count to Johnny Gomes. 2-0. Gomes at .232 with 5 home runs, .279 against left-handed pitching. John Farrell says, hey, for the time being, this guy's playing left field for me.
Yeah, and he said it had everything to do with Johnny Gomes seizing that opportunity and taking the position for himself.
Bedard falls behind, 3-0.
You know, Bedard, we talk a lot about his little deception in his delivery where he kind of turns back towards second base before heading towards home. Right now, he's spinning open too soon. That's what's going on with the arm side pitches that have all missed up. That front side is starting to come open a little bit too soon. That causes that arm to have trouble catching up. So better there because he didn't spin. And just slide step. He was direct right towards his target, and he popped it.
3-1 to count to Gomes. Rays had a couple runners in the first. Did not score. The Red Sox with a couple runners in the bottom of the first. And ball 4 will load the bases. Holt to third, Ortiz to second. On back-to-back walks to Ortiz and Gomes. They're loaded up.
This is where you get into trouble against lineups like this, is when you start to nibble a little bit. You run the pitch count up, you walk guys, you put them on unnecessarily. You just hope that Eric Bedard can bear down here on Hassan, get out of this inning unscathed.
Alex Hassan out of Quincy, Massachusetts. And the first pitch is a breaking ball. Curve, strike 1. Base runners everywhere for Boston. That's a strike over the outside edge. Fastball at 90 just caught the corner.
And that is a pitch right here. If pitchers get this today consistently, it's going to be a long day for the offense. We've seen it called a couple of times. We've seen it not called. Right now it's still in that gray area, but that was a big one because it gets you to 0-2.
There's strike 3 call. Followed that up with a curveball, got him looking, and the Red Sox will leave him loaded. We're headed into the second inning from Fenway Park in Boston. Rays nothing, the Red Sox nothing. Celebrate Father's Day early with the Rays when they take on the Mariners Sunday, June 8th. The first 10,000 fans 14 and older get a James Loney grill set presented by KM. Get your tickets now at RaysBaseball.com or call 888-FAN-RAYS. Pretty good looking grill set there. First pitch to Logan Forsythe, leading off the second. No strikes.
I had a different grill set in mind, but those will do.
Yeah.
I like those. I like to use the grill out.
I got you. 1-1. Both shiny in the sun for those cookouts. Two and one. Well, Forsythe playing second base for the Rays. The Rays have moved their alignment around a little bit because of some injuries. Down to third. Nice backhanded pick by Herrera, and the throw to first in time. Forsythe out Herrera to Holt.
This is a really nice play. A chopper down the line that has to be backhanded on an in-between hop. And then the turn, nice throw by Herrera. That's not exactly the third to first that you would think of with the Boston Red Sox. It certainly works effectively here. Dwayne, you talking about those different moves that the Rays can make. I mean, how often do you hear that your starting right fielder, after a scratch in the infield, moves to shortstop?
Yep. Well, that's part of the versatility that the Rays demand. They really need that to compete in the American League East because it helps to create depth. James Loney lofts a high, towering fly ball to left, and just on the track, Gomes makes the catch. A couple of quick outs in the second inning. And now Jose Molina. Molina. How about those numbers off Lester? 346. First pitch is a strike from Lester. Molina, seeing his playing time, stepped up with Ryan Hanigan on the DL, much to the chagrin of Ryan Hanigan. He went there, but not all that willing to go. Herrera makes this play. The Rays are up and down 1-2-3 in the second. Through an inning and a half from Boston. No score.
The American League, not the place Joe Madden was expecting to be at this point of the season, but for the skipper, he wants to deliver a consistent message to his team.
I just think we just have to stay with it. You can't lose faith. You can't lose confidence. You can't start coming out of your regular method of operation just because things aren't going well right now. Happens, and now we're being tested regarding what we believe in and how we do things. So it's kind of an interesting exercise, actually. So I really believe in our comeback, and I'm really looking forward to it.
He's always looking on the bright side of life, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, you're right, and you find yourself in this situation. There are a few different tacks you could take, and Joe continues to have faith in this club, and as we mentioned earlier, the process that goes with it, and that's what he's focused on right now. Just, go out there and try to, each step of the way, do the proper thing. David Ross leads off here in the bottom of the second. It's a 1-1 count to the Boston catcher. And it can be difficult. And his approach right there is in many ways a bit different than some that you might see. You'd see a lot of fretting and wringing of hands and sometimes angry outbursts. And Joe, to this point, is staying in character and anticipating the turnaround.
And he can point to a track record. I mean, this is the same way that he's done things for the last, 4 or 5 years, where the Rays have had all their success. I mean, and there have been down times in those years, even last year. This team was kind of muddling around in
there were
June.
times last year when there were not many takers at all about this team.
No.
Spending any time in the postseason a year ago.
And then you rip off a great month of July, and here you go. So you just never know when that can happen. So you just stay consistent.
Full count to Ross.
What's been consistent in the early part of this game for Eric Bedard are too many deep counts.
27 pitches in the first inning. He had 3-3-2 counts in that one and a 3-2 count to open the second. High fly ball into center. Desmond trying to get the right angle on that one, looking skyward.
Well, when the balls hit high like that, and the sun is going to play a role, and you have time, that's exactly what you do. You angle your body to give yourself the best view of it. When balls hit hard, you don't have time. You just got to go get it. But when you do, and you can see Desmond still looking up into that high sky, that bright, beautiful day here in Boston.
Here's Jackie Bradley Jr. He takes the first pitch strike. Bradley homered in the 5th inning of the game last night. A 2-run shot. That came with Sizemore aboard. One and one to count to Bradley, and there's Bradley taking that one right off the nose on the ball hit by Kiermaier in the 8th inning last night. Kiermaier circled the bases, a liner caught by Zobrist. Hot shot line drive by Bradley Jr. 2 gone.
All about positioning. This is where those shifts come into play. It's subtle, but you'll see right here, there's Ben Zobrist. And he's right there to make that play. Playing traditional shortstop, 1 out, runner on first.
Jonathan Herrera. He bunts that ball. 1 strike to count. 2 up, 2 down in the 2nd inning. a little bit off the plate. 1-1. Two balls and a strike. You mentioned the deep counts already by Bedard, and that's something that the Red Sox, like the Rays like to work counts. The Red Sox really do a great job of that. They see more pitches than any team in the American League. In fact, they see more pitches than anybody in the majors except the Minnesota Twins right now. Twins are working deep counts. Chop to third, could be tough. They get him at first. A nice little play there. The ball not hit all that hard. And Herrera out of there. Longoria to Loney. 1, 2, 3. Go the Red Sox. We're going to move into the third from Fenway. No score. In Boston, more and more we see that. Third game of this series. Time now for you to tweet your photo using hashtag SunSportsFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in our broadcast later in the game. Brought to you by AT&T. Kevin Kiermaier lifts a high fly ball toward the corner and left, and that ball a difficult play. And I'll tell you, Johnny Gomes staying right with that up against the wall out there until he ran out of room.
Now there is no foul territory over this way. We talked about that on Friday night. And then you see Johnny going into that shaded area and hoping that ball wasn't anywhere near him. I'll tell you, Kevin Kiermaier hit an inside the park home run last night that was so impressive. Hit his speed out of the box all the way around the base paths. I mean, he was flying.
Taps it down to first. Holt with the toss to Lester. So that's the first down. Let's take a look at Kiermaier rounding the bases in the 8th inning.
Watch him out of the box. Well, saw him out of the box. That's it. Jackie Bradley Jr., how about him eating that? How about the fact there were 2 guys last night taking a ball right off the nose?
Yeah.
Jackie Bradley Jr., and then, of course, with the Rays at his first
Solis.
start. Yeah, first start. Didn't even get to finish his only at-bat and punched out.
Well, you wait all that time. It had a handful of at-bats. I think 4 with the Padres.
Yeah.
and now comes up with the Rays. Chance to get back in the big leagues, and you suffer that.
And then when they ask what happened, you got to go with nasal contusion. Bloodless nasal contusion.
Yeah.
And Jackie Bradley Jr., on the other hand, had, I think, a bloody nasal contusion, and they just rolled up something, stuffed it right up his nose, and he stayed in the game.
And he appears no worse for the wear out there today. Two the count to Zobrist. And Solis looks all right today.
And you got a sweet pair of shades on, too.
Foul ball by Zobrist. There's the misfortune of Solis. That ball coming right up, ricocheting and hitting him in the nose.
Ron Porterfield came out, attended to him for a little while, and that would be it.
Zobrist chops it left side. Herrera makes that play. 2 up and 2 down. Now Desmond Jennings. First pitch strike from Lester. Jennings worked a full count and then walked on a pitch away in the first. Ball, 2 strikes.
You can see John Lester not at all happy with the location of that cutter. He understands, that right now it's 0-0 game, and you cannot be messing out over the middle of the plate. If you miss that pitch off the plate, you can live with that miss. It's the miss out over the plate that typically costs you runs over the long haul. So those are the mistakes you want to avoid.
2-2. 15-game winner last year, rebounding from a 9-14 the year before. Lester won 19 games for the Red Sox in 2010. And he strikes out Jennings. 1, 2, 3. Go the Rays. 8 straight retired by Lester. No score. On Sun Sports, presented by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Visit us at Publix.com and by the Florida Department of Transportation, who remind you to drive sober or get pulled over. Rays in Boston wrapping up their series against the Red Sox this afternoon. Eric Bedard making his 9th start, 10th appearance overall for the Rays. Brock Holt, the first baseman, leads off, taking the pitch for a strike. Holt doubled off the Green Monster in the first inning. Each team with 1 hit. It's 1-1. Red Sox working on a 6-game winning streak. Rays trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. Down the right side. That could be trouble. It's a fair ball and will bound into the stands. Kiermaier coming over there toward the line. You're never quite sure with a fly ball like that, with that pesky pole so close down the right field line. It goes as a 2-base hit for Holt.
Such an odd angle. And that ball was in the air for a long time. Wayne, you mentioned it early about the ground that Kiermaier has to cover out there in right field. And that ball dropped harmlessly down the line, bounced into the stands. And Holt a double to left to lead off the game, or to lead off the bottom of the first, and now the bottom of the third, a double down the right field line.
Because of the nuances of this ballpark, you can't play the outfield just full throttle all the time. There are some starts and stops. Bogarts pops it into shallow right. Forsythe out from second base to make the catch for the out. So the more you can get familiar with the dimensions of this ballpark, the better off you are.
And the only place that you're going to play this outfield full throttle at all is from right center towards center field. But even so, if it's deep, you got the little cutout you got to contend with too.
Yep.
But it is definitely a unique setup here. And that's why you see visiting teams, the Rays do it too. They just come in and start working those nooks and crannies.
It's Pedroia. First pitch is a strike to him. Fastball around 90 miles per hour. One and one. Bedard got out of a bases loaded situation in the first inning. Trying to pitch around the leadoff double in the third. Pedroia up here now with Ortiz on deck. 2 balls and a strike to count. There's a pitch on the outside edge that goes as a strike.
Boy, a hitter in a 2-1 count wants nothing more than a fastball, and that's what Bedard's going to give him. And this is why, just because a guy's looking for a fastball or likes to hit the fastball doesn't mean you don't throw it to him. You just put it in a spot like that. And see, Pedroia did not even offer at it because he realized there was no way to drive that pitch.
Ball away again, this one off the plate, and the count is full. Pedroia into this game with a little hitting streak of 6 in a row. full count here. Three-two. It's headed out of play. And that's really nothing new for Pedroia, who can foul off a number of pitches. You get him to 2 strikes, you take him to 3-2. And it's almost as if he gets in that wear you down mode until he finds the mistake that a pitcher can make.
He's victimized a lot of guys, a lot of pitchers by doing that. This team has been outstanding with 2 strikes. Lead the major leagues in 2-strike base hits, 2-strike base runners.
One hop to short, and now the throw will go to first. Holt out there in front of Zobrist, and Zobrist took a little peek at him. Went to first to get Pedroia.
I wonder if he believed what he saw right here. Watch this right now. By this time, Forsythe is at second base, so they really had Brock Holt dead to rights if Ben Zobrist runs him and flips that ball to Forsythe. But he decided to take the sure out, but that leaves a man in scoring position.
David Ortiz. There's a strike to start Ortiz. Ortiz 5 of 29 in his career against Bedard. Two hits for the Red Sox. Holt has them both doubles. 0-2.
Dwayne, here's that play that we were talking about that we just saw with Ben Zobrist on the ground ball, and you'll see Forsythe sneak in behind him. Now right here's where Zobrist fields it. I mean, he's got Forsythe right there. If he wants him, he's got it.
Yeah, Forsythe got to the bag. The 2-strike pitch. He got him. Strikes him out. Ortiz leaves a man in second. We go to the 4th. No score. A running conversation with DJ Rayburn, the plate umpire, and it appears that while we were gone, Dustin Pedroia has been ejected from this game, and that brought John Farrell out there. And you can only assume it was over a pitch during that at bat in the bottom of the third.
Well, this was the when Bedard fell behind 2-1, and threw this fastball right here. A strike goes from 2-1 to 2-2 as opposed to 3-1. Pedroia not real happy with that pitch being called. He would eventually ground out, and I think maybe, yeah, he said right there, no, it's not. Whatever DJ Rayburn told him about where that pitch location was, he said, yeah, no, it's not. And I think that conversation may have continued.
So there'll be a little shuffling on the infield. Herrera's going to go over to play second base. Garin Cecchini is the new third baseman.
Yeah, you can't fire up a name like that on us right off the bat without a pronunciation underneath it.
Fourth inning underway. 2-0 the count to Longoria. 2-1 will be Longoria, Sands, and then Rodriguez against John Lester.
Really, Dwayne, that's why you lead the way. Because they just let the smooth, pro take it from there.
Hey, just don't break your rhythm. That's all.
That's right. You taught me that very well. You're halfway through a sentence, you know you've butchered it, you just continue on.
That's right.
Sell it.
Oh, a cut and a miss. Longoria out in front. First out here in the fourth. Let's check in with Todd Callis now. Todd?
Thank you, Dwayne, with principal owner Stu Sternberg, who's here watching the game and keeping score as usual. I saw you put your phone away. Is that the new version? That's not the flip phone we had last year.
No, not a flip phone, unfortunately, but it's still sitting in a very prominent place.
Unfortunately, you miss it.
Yeah.
Stu, what about this team? Obviously, 56 games in, you weren't expecting to be 10 games under. For the fans at home whose faith is being tested, what do you have to say?
Well, it's June. It's June in a new month, which is always nice to turn the page when things have been going like this. We have a lot of faith in the team. The guys who put it together, the players who were here. We've been through this before. It's maddening at times. As a Rays fan, you know it. But the beauty about this is you never know how the movie ends, and it's a heck of a ride going forward.
Jerry Sands in his second at bat since being called up from AAA Durham. And you don't like expectations on your team. I know you said you're a little bit superstitious, but you'd rather fly under the radar, right? A lot of people are picking this team to do a lot of good things.
Yeah, look, I think probably the Astros are looking forward to playing us right now. So that's a better position than. There we go. Nope, sorry. It's a little tongue-in-cheek and gallows humor, but we've done our worst to get under the radar here, and ideally we can play in that position from behind like we've been used to, but it's going to be a game at a time, series at a time. It's really most every guy on the team is just has got a good amount of room to perform a bit better here. It's not an injury thing as much. Everybody has those. It's just everybody elevating their game individually and collectively to get it done here.
Sands chases a pitch and strikes out. Stu, obviously, getting a win here before you leave town would be big, and then you go to Miami for 2. Then that's the stretch of the schedule that everybody's been waiting for. 18 out of 21 at home.
Well, we're home. We're home in June. It's a lot of Florida time. A couple of interesting teams to play as well. I want to thank all the fans who've been supporting us, obviously sticking with us on TV. And I know it's maddening, and I watch all the games as well. And I'm at a bunch of them. But that's what it is being a fan. And June. We've got our shot here. Clearly, we'll see how things look a month from now. But it's nice to be here June 1st. I'm here amongst some Rays fans, a smattering of Rays fans in the Red Sox section, so we're holding the fort down.
I would think, and flex packs are still a big deal, 3, 6, and 9 game packs. Go to 888-FAN-RAYS if you want to get those. I would think this is the time when you're looking that this team needs to make a move with this stretch.
Yeah, we've dug a hole. It's there's not a lot of room for downside right now. It's never do or die. It's still 2/3 of the season left. It's a ton of baseball, and as we saw back in 2011. By the end of July, everybody had written us off completely. We were going to dismantle the team. We did none of that, and the team went on a historic run. You don't want to have to go to that well every few years, but it's baseball, and you have to play each of the games. The nice thing we know is that these guys are capable. You went around. a better performance than we've seen to this point. And our expectation is we'll have some better games ahead of us.
That was a good call by you. He did go around. John Lester strikes out the side. Stu, we appreciate the time.
Thank you. Thanks for everybody, and we'll see you out of the ballpark.
All right, that's Stu Sternberg. We'll be back with more after this.
From the Rays dugout here at Fenway Park, we have a scoreless game moving into the bottom of the fourth inning, and Johnny Gomes settling into the batter's box after walking in his first plate appearance. Will face Eric Bedard. 55 pitches for Bedard through the front three, and there's a first pitch strike. He is now 9 of 14 in first pitch strikes, but a lot of pitches so far and a lot of full counts. He's had 5 full counts on the 13 hitters he's faced.
Well, he's been very careful. He has run up some deep counts, but ultimately he's matched Lester 0 for 0. Pitching around a couple of leadoff walks in the first 3 innings. And actually making such good pitches on Dustin Pedroia, it got him canned.
Yeah, got him out of the game. He was ejected. Pulled well foul, deep by Gomes into the upper deck, and foul. Still 2-2.
You know, the one pitch that Eric Bedard has featured that really has led to a lot of his success, the fastball in on right-handed hitters. And we have not seen a whole lot of that today. He has stayed on the outside corner just a little bit off, some very good changeups, a few curveballs, and everything for the most part's been away.
This one away, and Gomes takes it that way. Base hit into right.
Now that's called making an adjustment right there. Johnny Gomes understanding that he's seeing exactly what we're seeing, and that's Eric Bedard staying mostly away. So with 2 strikes, good plate coverage there, and he just punches one out into right field.
Over the 3rd inning, 3 of the 4 now, the Red Sox have put the leadoff man aboard. There's Alex Hassan, the right fielder. Bedard struck him out looking on a breaking ball the first time. Pitch outside 1-0. And one of the things that Red Sox like about this young outfielder, they say, is his strike zone judgment. Well, he would fit right in with this Boston lineup. One and one. Local product here. Went to Duke University. Played the outfield and was a closer for Duke. It's a big cut, fouling it back, 1-2.
He got aggressive on that fastball that Eric Bedard left up in the zone. And you could see, too, from that camera angle, Johnny Gomes, as Eric Bedard starts his delivery towards the plate, he is heading back towards first base. Bedard's so good at controlling the running game. No one's even attempted a stolen base off him this year. Very deceptive. He's got a good slide step.
Pretty close with that pitch. Came back with a curveball. He got him looking on that pitch in the first. Just didn't quite drop into the zone. Foul. See another 2-2. Red Sox left the bases loaded in the first. They left Holt on second in the third. They have Gomes at first, leading off with a base hit in the fourth. And another full count, the pitch wide. Well, that's 6 full counts.
There have been a lot of pitches by Bedard around the zone, close on the outside corner, just off. That has been the running theme. That and basically everything bent away today against these hitters.
3-2. Up the middle, base hit into center field. Gomes will stop at second. And the Red Sox have their first 2 men aboard here in the fourth. First major league hit. So they'll stop and get the baseball on this occasion.
Now he did a nice job of working that count against Bedard and then got a 3-2 pitch. You're going to see it right here, changeup, and it just stayed out over the plate, and he stayed back on it very well. Did not get out too far in front. Pretty good timing right there, and right back up the middle.
So Longoria retrieving that baseball and flipping it into the Red Sox dugout. Now David Ross, the veteran catcher, hits one long and deep and foul into the upper deck. Ross in there because he's 2 for 4 in his career against Bedard, and those 2 hits are home runs. A little early on that drive. Popping out of the mid of Molina, And that might have cost a strike.
You know, he did it trying to get him a strike. You know, Jose Molina will say, on a ball that's borderline, I'll put my glove right on the corner and then try to catch it in the webbing so that I present my entire glove over the plate. And that will get strike calls. You see him just try to just catch that ball right out the edge of the glove, and it fell out and ultimately could have cost him one.
Now, cut the miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
When you think about that, a ball that's just off the plate, and if you can keep the meaty part of the glove on that corner and just let that ball sail into the very edge of that glove, you will be able to get some strikes called that normally would not have been, and he's one of the best in the game at that.
That's truly living on the edge. You're living on the edge of the strike zone. And it's something that you need to perfect because you're playing with the percentages that way. Kiermaier in line to make the catch. A tag at second. Gomes hits to third, and the ball gets by Longoria, but it's backed up by Bedard. Gomes tagging on the fly ball, and the throw from Kiermaier was down the line.
I think we were all anticipating. We know Kevin Kiermaier has an excellent arm. He threw it wildly there, but that throw got by Evan Longoria, and if it wasn't for the wall, I mean, this ball actually bounces off the wall. You see the strong throw, but as it gets by there, Bedard, that ball hit off of the padding. Another couple of feet behind him, and that goes into the Rays dugout. That's a run for the Red Sox.
One out on the fly ball to right, but both men move up. Here's Jackie Bradley Jr., who hit a shot his first time up. Rays have the infield up. Pitch away. 1 ball and no strikes. Rays have not been scoring runs during this losing streak. They've scored just 16 runs, hitting .226 in a scoreless game in the 4th with 2 men in scoring position. The infield up. Two balls, no strikes.
That's the way you have to play it, especially they're having trouble scoring runs, and John Lester, you know, 9 of his 11 starts this year, he's given up 3 earned runs or fewer, so he doesn't give up that many. It's been a tough go. You got to take some chances, and we've seen this alignment from the Rays work out an awful lot.
Three balls, no strikes. Red Sox with men in scoring position in 3 of the first 4 innings. And a strike called on Bradley Jr. Takes the count to 3-2. Bradley's home run last night came off the Rays lefty Cesar Ramos. Three-two pitch is ball 4. That loads the bases.
Well, another full count, another free pass, another bit of trouble here for the Rays and Eric Bedard. Well, he's pulled his Houdini act before, and this would be impressive here.
Well, now with the bases loaded, the Rays have a chance at getting out of this by turning a double play.
Yeah, Eric Bedard not a ground ball pitcher by any stretch of the imaginations, but he has rolled up a couple of double plays this year.
Herrera grounded third to first his first time, but lifts it into the air. Rodriguez will make the catch. Gomes the tag, and the throw cut off by Longoria as Gomes scores, and it's 1-0.
And I wonder there. I don't know if Evan Longoria was lined up in the right spot, but that throw by Sean Rodriguez was going nowhere. It wasn't headed towards the plate. It wasn't headed towards third. He basically split the difference. You'll see it right here. Watch there. There's the throw, and it's halfway up the line.
Yep. So we've seen a couple throws from the outfield, a little bit off the mark here in this inning.
That may go a little bit stronger than a little, but.
And now Brock Holt. The Rays are going to appeal third base. And they say Gomes hung around long enough to tag after the catch. So Herrera gets the run batted in to make it 1-0. Holt 2 for 2, a pair of 2 base hits. A ball, no strikes. Bedard behind Holt, 2-0. The RBI for Herrera is 6th of the year. That's a strike. 2-1. Rays have been out hit 4-1. They trail 1-0. Takes the count to 2-2.
That's that cutter that Eric Bedard will throw to the lefties. Just moving it away from him, trying to keep that pitch of his off the barrel of the bat. Here he gets off the bat completely.
And still another full count. The third this inning, the 8th in the game.
And that's why you see, I mean, you're 3 2/3 into this game, 84 pitches already. This is how the Boston Red Sox design it. They want to get into that bullpen as quickly as they can.
Runners go on the 2-out 3-2 pitch. Skied into left toward the corner, and Rodriguez found himself drifting on that one as the ball falls, and 2 runs will score. Holt winds up at second base again, and Sean Rodriguez drifting on that ball, and it cost him.
I have no idea what Sean was seeing there. The body language told you that he had this fly ball completely under control, was going to make a play on it. And you'll see him right here. This down the left field line. He starts to pull up there. I got it. And then all of a sudden that. I do not know what happened there, but that's a play that got zooed by the Rays, and that leads to 2 runs for the Red Sox.
So just like that, it's a 3-0 ball game.
We just wonder what. You know, he wasn't yet in the shadows, and I don't know if he was looking up into the sun. And Sean usually is so good out there in the outfield as far as tracking balls in the gap in the corner. Much better than what he showed right there. And you just wonder what he was seeing.
Yeah, there is a shadow in that corner. And of course, any ball hit off a left-handed swinger's bat will slice toward the line. So there was some indecision and some drifting on the part of Sean Rodriguez. Xander Bogaerts is the hitter. Well, it appeared that Bedard was going to be out of the inning, allowing just the 1 run. Now the Rays are down by 3. Chopped to short. Zobrist throws out Loney. So 3 runs score in the inning. We go to the 5th. 3-0 Boston. Fifth in the game today and all season long. Tires Plus will be donating $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Logan Forsythe leading off the 5th. Takes a pitch low. Lester has 6 strikeouts in this game, including 4 consecutive strikeouts. Struck out the last 4 hitters to face him. 2-0. Overall, he's retired 11 straight.
To turn around their fortune are going to have to do it against this tough lefty. We talked about the streak that he's on right now. He has been very good. He had a little hiccup in the first inning, a walk and a base hit by Longoria, infield hit. But other than that, he's been pretty sharp all afternoon. Here falling behind Forsythe 3-1, and this is what the Rays are going to need if they want to climb back into this one. Some good swinging counts, and then do something with them.
3-1. It's tapped foul.
Start.
Into and out of the Rays dugout.
You love coming to these old ballparks like Fenway, Wrigley Field, and you can just tell how guys were a lot smaller back in the day when these places were built. Just go into the dugout, and you look around and you're like, how do you fit guys? I mean, everybody's got to sit, you know, some guys are sitting on another guy's lap, and they got to build up extra benches. There's no room in there. these kind of fields.
Ooh, strike 3 called to Forsythe. That's 5 consecutive strikeouts for Lester.
And again, right on the edge with this pitch, a 3-2 count. You know, you got to protect here. You got to pull the trigger. This has been a strike a lot more times today than not. And it's just, you know, you're right there, 90 miles an hour. You got to try to put that ball in play. You put it in the umpire's hands, and you're not sure what the outcome will be. That one was not good for the Rays.
James Loney in the batter's box. He takes the first pitch strike. Today after Rays Live, the post-game coverage will debut the brand new edition of Inside the Rays. Title Loney at first. We'll look into the life and career of the Rays first baseman, who's now down in the count. 2 strikes. There'll be insights from teammates, manager Joe Madden, his former high school coaches and teachers. Loney at first, airing today after Rays Live. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Up the right side, down the line. That's going to one-hop the low fence for a 2-base hit for James Loney. So just like that, the Rays have a man in scoring position. A 1-out double into right field.
James Loney does not bail. And right here, John Lester tries to get him with a front door cutter, and he stays right in there. Doesn't pull off of it. Rips his hands through there and shoots that ball down into the corner. That's a great job.
13th double of the year. Now Molina takes one the other way out of play. Molina's had some good numbers against Lester. Grounded out to third his first time, and up here with a chance to get the Rays on the board.
That's why Joe Madden has put him in second cleanup.
Molina's still looking for that first RBI. And now suddenly down 0-2 in the count. Two strikes to count on the Rays catcher. Rays had men at first and second in the first. Now Loney at second in the fifth, and Molina is out on strikes. Strikeout number 8 for Lester.
Get ahead of you. Then when a pitcher does that, he has the ability to expand the zone. This time Lester decides to do it with the curveball, and he takes it off, well, not off the plate, but below the strike zone on the outside half. Picks up a big strikeout.
Probably at one point retired 12 in a row, now 13 of 14. And of those retired in that stretch, the last 6 outs have come on strikeouts. Kevin Kiermaier, a big cut and a miss at the fastball, strike 1. Kiermaier grounded out to first, his only other at bat. Facing the tough left-hander.
Now this is where, if you're Kevin Kiermaier, and we've seen him show the ability to do this, think about hitting the ball off Lester the other way. Try to shoot that ball to left. For the most part, he's going to stay away from you. That's where, of course, he hit the inside the park home run last night, left center. He went right down the left field line for a home run in Anaheim, so he's shown the ability to go that way.
2-1. Cut and a miss.
That was a dirty pitch by Lester. He comes in, he gets late action on that pitch at 91 miles an hour and drops it right below the swing. Now just try to stay alive.
Two. Oh, strike three, and Kiermaier moving away from that pitch. He thought it was nowhere near the strike zone, and Rayburn rings him up. Let's take another look at that. We'll go to the bottom of the fifth. 3-0 Boston. Promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to hashtag #SunSportsFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Variation on a theme right there. Bottom of the fifth underway, and the first pitch is a strike.
And you know what I thought it was going to be? You know what I thought it was going to be today, Dwayne? There was a photo tweeted out. I'm not on Twitter, but I catch things, you know, I get shrapnel every now and then.
Yeah.
But all that to say, I saw a picture that was tweeted out here from Fenway Park this morning of a guy sitting in the Fenway Park seats, an empty section, in a DJ Kitty hat. I thought that was going to be the hands-down winner.
Yeah. 2 strikes the count on Garen Cecchini. It's pulled foul. Cecchini's first at bat here. He entered the game in the fourth when Pedroia was ejected. He went in to play third, and Herrera moved over to play second. Foul out of play. You know that that pitch in which Kiermaier was called out on strikes certainly didn't appear to be a strike, and DJ Rayburn probably reminded Kiermaier, who objected a bit, that hey, I just ran Pedroia earlier in the game, and I can run you. So Kiermaier, being the smart young man, said, I'm going to leave now. I'm going to go play right field. Take a look at that pitch, because it certainly didn't appear to be a strike.
No, watch David Ross pull it back in. And DJ Rayburn almost gets caught up being a fan there. You remember the previous pitch was 91 with sink action, and then he plays the front door cutter right off of that. That's a great combo of pitches, but it has to be a strike, and that wasn't.
No moonwalking there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That right there, you have visions of Enrico Palazzo behind the plate and Spiewak out on the mound. And Spiewak's good enough without the wide zone.
A 1-2 count on Cecchini. Two and two now. Strike call. So Bedard picks up an opening strikeout here in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, and I think this is where the Rays get one. Bedard goes down and away. This pitch looked to be off the plate. Close enough, though. Cecchini not real happy about it. The precedent has been set.
I think you're right.
We'll take it. Hey, that had one coming to us.
Yeah, absolutely. David Ortiz. Wow.
I tell you one other thing, and you know, having number 70 doesn't help.
That's right. That's right.
I'll never forget going my first ever spring training. My first number that I had with the Angels was 56. It was 56.
That's not too bad.
No, I mean that's when I got into trouble.
Oh, this is going to be a foul boy. You could have been a linebacker with that.
And that's why my first day I asked him where the playbook was and where my pads were in my playbook, and I got blown up for that, and understandably so. However, walking out to the fields, the back fields, first couple days of spring training, I'm walking out with a couple other younger guys who were like number 63, 68, 71, and a little boy walks up behind us and, Daddy, who are they? And he waited for us to walk by, and he's like, oh, they're all the high numbers. They're never going to make the team. More times than not, you're right. You're going to spring training with a number in the 60s or 70s. It's not looking good for you.
Yeah, but you got to keep looking forward, as you did, and before you knew it, there
Try
you
to
were.
get it all the way down.
Yeah.
I wanted to make it into the teens.
High pop-up by David Ortiz. Shallow left, and Rodriguez is there to catch it. 2 gone. How about the Toronto Blue Jays and Mark Burley? Burley pitching again today and pitching well, apparently, very well. 4-0. Toronto at home over Kansas City, and that game now in the 9th inning.
Unbelievable. He just continues to get it done. He won his 9th game, his last outing against the Rays. This more than likely looks like it will turn out to be his 10th win, 10-1.
Yep.
And no runs. He hasn't given up a thing. I think 8 shutout.
Ball 2 to Johnny Gomes, 2-0. Two balls and a strike. Blue Jays trying to go 10 games over 500. 3-1 to Gomes. Ball 4. Gomes takes a stroll, reaching for the 3rd time today. That's his 2nd walk. In between, he led off the fourth with a single and scored a run. And Joe Madden comes out of the Rays dugout with 2 outs in the fourth inning. That's going to be it. 104 pitches for Bedard. Boxberger will get the call. Inning ends the afternoon for Eric Bedard and brings on Brad Boxberger. Rays Summer Concert Series returns. You can be a part of the first concert of the year. Weezer takes the stage after the Rays host the Mariners Saturday, June 7th. They'll play hits like Say It Ain't So, Pork and Beans, and Island in the Sun. Concert free with the purchase of that game's ticket. Get your tickets now at RaysBaseball.com/concerts or call 888-FAN-RAYS. Four and 2/3 for Bedard. He's responsible for a man as he departs, and Boxberger's on for the 16th time.
Good numbers for Boxberger. 23 strikeouts, 17 innings. Yeah, Ray 1.59, good opponent's average. You need to get one out here and get the offense back and trying to get something going here against Lester. Already down 3.
Alex Hassan, and the first pitch is a fastball. Tap swing, and that's a strike.
You know, Boxberger's got interesting mechanics where he's really slow and deliberate, and his arm angle's a little bit lower, kind of slings the ball towards the plate, and he gets really good velocity on it. So it really jumps on you, whereas the mechanics kind of lull you to sleep, and then the pitch is just all of a sudden right now.
And he didn't miss by much on that one.
No,
1-1.
A good breaking ball and a good changeup to go along with it. You can understand why his numbers have been so good, and Joe will start to use him in some tight spots.
Blue Jays game is over. It's a 4-0 final, and Burley goes to 10-1. Encarnacion hit his 19th home run of the year in that game. Now 1-2. 2 hours and 14 minutes the time of that game, by the way, and Burley pitching 8 of those innings.
That's usually about the bottom of the 5th for us. 2:14.
Now it's 2-2.
If we did a game in 2:14, it would be like we cheated the system. That's much too quick.
Yeah, I know you would feel very guilty. You want to do a very long post-game segment.
Right. Hence continuing coverage.
That's it.
It never ends.
2-2 the count. Chop charged by Longoria. This throw to first in time. No runs, a walk, and a man left. We're through 5 with the score 3-0 Boston.
As we head to the 6th inning in our Chevy Division storyline today, Will Myers placed on the 15-day DL with a sprained right wrist. You see his numbers on the year, including 4 for his last 39. Here's Joe Madden on how this could work out in the long run.
It's been a tough beginning for him this year. Maybe like a little bit of a break right now, keeps him frisky for the end of the year. Get this thing feeling properly, get it feeling well, maybe a couple of rehab at-bats, get him going in the right direction and bring him on back. Listen, for us to really be successful this year, he's got to be in the middle of our lineup somewhere like he had been last year. So just talking about let's see what's wrong first and then create the program after that and hopefully get him back relatively soon.
6th underway, back to Dwayne.
All right, Todd, thank you. Ben Zobrist going after the first pitch. Lifting the fly ball to center, caught by Bradley. Well, there's been one thing after another, but Joe Madden continues to look forward. Desmond Jennings up here with 1 out and the base is empty. Desmond shortens on the bat, takes ball 1.
I was thinking more in line of spunky for the end of the year.
As opposed to frisky?
Yeah. I mean, spunky.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to go with.
Right. He's not exactly toasty right now, is he?
No, he's not. But if you could get him spunky down towards the end, then he may start to brown that piece of bread.
2-1.
It's completely unraveling right here. The top of the 6th.
A little mad knees. Cut the miss. Jennings now with a count of 2-2. Longoria will be next. Full count to Jennings. Under it, sends a high fly ball short center. Coming in is Bradley. They had Herrera and Bogarts out from the infield, but Bradley taking charge in center.
Now, Jackie Bradley Jr. not afraid to chrome up some fly balls. I mean, there were some bodies there. He comes in, he's kind of hopping, and Certainly having some fun out there this afternoon. That's what happens, I guess, when you win 6 in a row and you've got a lead in the 7th.
Evan Longoria. Pitch inside. The Toyota trim. You see right there. And the Rays wins. Longoria 337. And the losses a little over 200.
Boy, what a stark contrast between the wins and between the losses.
You know, there are a lot of numbers that you can break down, but that one tells you a lot right there. Liner into center. That will fall in front of Bradley for a 2-out base hit. The Rays collect their 3rd hit of the game. Now Jerry Sands. Sands 0 for 2 today, a couple strikeouts. Just up from Durham. Takes a look at the first pitch wide. 1 ball and no strikes. One and one.
I'll tell you, that is such a great equalizer for John Lester, that cutter. You know, he has good enough velocity, good enough placement with the regular fastball, but then he can cut it. We've seen it anywhere from 89 to 91. We've seen the right-handed hitters consistently swing over it.
And Sands takes a look at a pitch on the outside edge. He's had a couple of those called on him out there today. It's now 1-2.
And I think John Lester has seen enough of them called that's where you're going to continue to go.
This one gets away. Down to second base goes Longoria. So a wild pitch charged to Lester, his 2nd of the year. Sands a couple of long home runs in the spring. He's in the middle of the lineup for the Durham Bulls. And just joining the Rays after hitting a home run in the Durham game last night. Just joining the Rays today and hitting cleanup in the lineup. Three-two. It's out of play. We'll see another 3-2 pitch. And a cut and a miss. Sands out on strikes to end the top of the 6th. Double figures in the strikeout department for Lester. 3-0 Boston. Catch every strikeout, every game ender, and every history-making moment on MLB Whip Around. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. The Boston catcher, David Ross, will lead off the bottom of the 6th inning. Bradley Jr. next, and then Herrera against Brad Boxberger. Cut and a miss. Big swing by Ross.
Yeah, and tardy. Very tardy on that 92-mile-an-hour fastball, and that's why Boxberger, if you don't see him regularly, that fastball will appear to be harder because of those mechanics and his release point. Look at both. I mean, that was 94, and David Ross swung at it like it was 104.
Piece of that one, fouling it back. The Toronto Blue Jays, winners today. They're 34-24. At the moment, they have a 3-game lead over the Yankees. Cut and a miss, and Ross is out on strikes. They're 3 up on New York. Now 5 up on Baltimore. Make them 6.5 on Boston and 10 in front of the Rays right now. They share the American League lead in total wins. Oakland with 34, although the A's 12 over, the Blue Jays now 10 over. A team with more wins in the major leagues than the Blue Jays would be the San Francisco Giants in the National League West. They're 36-20. 1-1 the count. So with this latest run by the Blue Jays, here they are suddenly this year being the team they thought they might be last year. Fly ball lifted into short left, and Sean Rodriguez is there to catch it. 2 gone.
Well, they're getting very good starting pitching. They've been consistent with their outings. Their bullpen is solid all the way through, and then that lineup.
Yeah.
We talked about it when we saw it up there. You've got Anthony Gose a lot of times down in the 9 spot. You've got Reyes at the 1 hole. So you've got those guys, speed, bookends, a lot of power.
It would really seem that if their starting pitching holds up, they're going to be tough the rest of the way.
And you had better believe that they're going to be players near the deadline and picking up a starting arm, whoever's available.
Think so. Yep.
Yeah, I think that in this division, if you've got an opportunity, you have got to seize it. And right now they've got an opportunity. They can add to that starting rotation with what they already have, the bullpen, the offense.
Yeah.
You got to believe they're going to do it.
And I think their own evaluation is zeroed in on their starting pitching, trying to fortify that. Because I think they like everything else. Not that they don't like their starting pitching, but when you look at an area that maybe concerns them the most, that would be the spotlight. It'll be interesting to keep an eye on them. And of course, Joe Maddon's thought is he'd still like to make a run, feeling it's early enough still to do that. Here this afternoon, it's been all Boston. The Red Sox holding a 3-0 lead behind John Lester. Brad Boxberger on the mound in relief of Eric Bedard.
Oh, and it's still possible for the Rays to do that, but you're going to have to start it now. I mean, you're going to have to start it with the month of June when the Rays are going to be at home basically the entire month.
Yeah, they have a great schedule in June. You know, they go down to Miami here the next couple days to wrap up this road trip, but then they're home. Really, they're home the entire month except for the trip to Houston until the final few days of the month. So they're home all the rest of the month of June. You'll have the Marlins in and the Mariners. Cardinals come in, then they go to Houston, and the Orioles, Houston, and Pittsburgh in. So they'll have some interleague play with the Cardinals and Pittsburgh in. That traditionally has been a strong suit for the Rays in interleague play. And a cut to miss. That takes care of Herrera. 1, 2, 3 go the Red Sox. We head into the 7th. 3-0 Boston. On the mound, the Rays move this road trip into South Florida, take on the Marlins. Coverage begins at 6:30. Game 1 of that 2-game set in Miami, and then the Marlins and the Rays will square off at Tropicana Field this coming Wednesday night. In the 7th inning at Fenway, Sean Rodriguez leads off. The pitch is too low. Big strikeout day so far for the left-hander John Lester. He struck out Rodriguez back in the 4th inning when he struck out the side. He had a stretch then of 5 consecutive strikeouts. He's up closing in on 100 pitches now. 2 balls and a strike. There's a bunt, third base side, a good one, and no play. Sean Rodriguez bunts his way on, and the Rays put the leadoff man on base for the first time in this game. Bunt single to open the 7th inning.
Taking advantage right there, and he drops down a beauty, a couple of feet fair. Absolutely no play to be made by Cicchini.
There's Logan Forsythe. Takes a breaking ball for strike 1. 10 strikeouts in this game for Lester. He had a career high 15 strikeouts earlier this year in 8 innings against the Oakland A's in a 6-3 win. It's 1-1 now. See Lester at 100 pitches. Forsythe falls behind in the count with that foul ball. Lester coming off a win over the Atlanta Braves. In 6 innings, he made 111 pitches in that one, gave up 3 runs and won 6-3. Blue Jays beat him prior to that one 7-2. Forsythe is out reaching. So another strikeout for Lester.
Boy, that was an at-bat right there that John Lester just completely overmatches Logan Forsythe with this fastball here. He's swinging from his heels. Watch this right here. Just trying to reach out there. Not able to come up with it. Good fastball there by Lester, and obviously Logan looking for something else.
Well, 11 strikeouts for Lester. Here's James Loney. The strike. The Rays last faced Lester in game 1 of the ALDS last year. He gave up 2 runs in 7 2/3 in that one. It's 2-1 against the Rays during the regular season. Now 1-1. He made 4 starts during the regular season and then the postseason appearance. Rodriguez at first on the bunt. Now 2-1. This time Loney is hit by the pitch. So the Rays will get 2 men aboard. Suddenly they'll get the potential tying run to the plate with Loney taking over at first, hitting the foot, and Rodriguez is pushed up to second base.
We're going to get a pinch hitter too for Molina.
Yeah, Escobar, who's had the little quad issue and who has great numbers in his career against Lester, will come off the bench to pinch hit for Jose Molina. So Joe Madden had Escobar in the starting lineup, and then he was a late scratch because of the quad issue. And as you can see, his numbers on the season: .254 with 3 homers and 13 runs batted in. But good lifetime numbers against Lester.
All it takes is one, pop one. All this work that Boston has done. They took a 3-run lead. Lester's been outstanding today, and the Rays just one swing away from tying this thing up.
Pitch is a strike.
Doing some damage against lefties. 370. I'd like to add one to that home run column.
The 0-1 under it. He sends a high fly ball into center. Bradley Jr. makes the catch. So in the pinch hitting role, Escobar skies to the center fielder. 2 outs with 2 men aboard. And here is Kevin Kiermaier. Called out on strikes his last time. Grounded out his first time up. Reaching for the pitch. That's a strike.
That's that cutter. That's the cutter that Lester likes to use against left-handed hitters. Kiermaier pulled off that one just a little bit and see if he continues to go with it. Tries to expand the plate away.
0-2. Well, 11 strikeouts and now 2 strikes here on this hitter, Kiermaier. Only the second time Lester's been in double figures this year in a start. But when you look at his strikeout to walk ratio, he's averaging well over 10 strikeouts for 9 innings. Pitch taken away. 1-2.
And he came in to the ball game with 83 strikeouts in 73 innings. He's close to closing that out to 80 innings, and that would make 94, and with the potential for 95.
And there it is, a wave and a miss. Curveball strikes out Kiermaier. 2 strikeouts in this inning. That's a dozen on the day. And we're moving into the bottom of the 7th inning at Fenway Park. Boston 3 and the Rays nothing. Three of their runs in the 4th. They come into bat in the bottom of the 7th inning. John Lester, only 1 walk, 12 strikeouts today, limiting the Rays to 4 hits. Brock Holt with 3 doubles, driving in 2 runs for Boston. And as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, Juan Carlos Oviedo will be the new pitcher. He follows Brad Boxberger. We take a look at the Fiat pitching change numbers. 18th appearance for Oviedo with a record of 1-2. His earned run average in at 2.12. Changes for the Rays. Escobar stays on to play shortstop. Yunel Escobar at short. Ben Zobrist moves out to right field. So Ben now in right field. The Rays, Rodriguez, Jennings, and Zobrist in the outfield, left, center, and right. Luis Solis takes over behind the plate with Molina lifted for the pinch hitter. Solis into the number 9 spot. Kiermaier out of the game. And Brock Holt's going to lead it off. 3 for 3, 3 doubles, couple of runs batted in. In here against Oviedo, a ball and no strikes. Holt homered and had a base hit last night in a 2 for 5 night. Picking up his first big league home run. He's followed that up with 3 doubles today. And a tough stop here for the Rays at Fenway, as it was in Toronto against the Blue Jays. Two balls and a strike. That one just a bit outside.
Tried the corner and missed.
Well, that great fade on it.
How'd that even register?
That was on the corner of the entire track. Three balls and a strike. Bogarts due next. That's ball 4. Oviedo gives up a walk to start his outing. Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts 0 for 3 in this game. Runner takes off, big swing and a miss, and the throw down, not in time. Holt steals second base.
Well, he caught Oviedo's got a high leg kick towards home plate. He got a great jump. There was no way that the Rays were going to be able to do anything about him going. Solis almost skipped that ball into the outfield.
And take a look at the hitter. Bogaerts had a full cut. They've called it a ball, and it's an interesting situation here. If he checked and then in the process of trying to get out of the way, the bat came forward.
Yeah, I think that's where it falls into intent, much like David Price staying in the game the other night.
But they put a strike on the board.
They think he swung too.
This pitch is foul out of play, 0-2. And time called. So the Red Sox taking advantage of the leadoff walk. They've stolen their way into scoring position now. fouls it out of play. Rays had Odorizzi and Ramos on the mound last night. Oviedo was the 4th pitcher in the game Friday and took the loss in 10 innings. And a cut and a miss. Bogart's out on strikes. 7th strikeout for Rays pitching, and the first out in the 7th.
Climbs the ladder on him. Oviedo right up there around the letters. That ball off the plate, away and above the zone. Bogarts goes down swinging. Now, the one thing you cannot do is allow the Boston Red Sox to add on to this lead. Already at 3. Rays only have 6 outs left to work with.
Cecchini, Garen Cecchini. 1 ball, no strikes. He was called out on strikes in the 5th inning, got into the game in the 4th when Pedroia was ejected in the bottom of the 3rd. Two and 0 the count. Strike at the knees. 2 and 1. Into left. Rodriguez back toward the corner, and he'll have to play it off the bottom of the wall. Run is going to score. Holt crosses the plate on the double by Cecchini, and that will make it 4-0.
I don't know if Sean Rodriguez is seeing the ball very well out there in left field. You know, that was the one he's going to decide to play off of the wall, and really, if he goes back to the wall, he can catch it. It didn't hit that far up off the wall. That's the judgment that you got to make. Is it going to be too high off the wall or not? This ball lifted to left, and Sean's going to pull off of it right there. That ball, it didn't hit that far up the wall. It hit about where Baltimore is in the AL East standings out there, which you wouldn't even need to jump for that. And, you know, this is a wall that gave Sean Rodriguez some troubles last year here, where he got up underneath a few too many times. And I think in trying to stay away from that, he let that one go when he could have caught that one.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of that occurred early in this game. Didn't really cost the Rays a base then, but it was an awkward situation. Same kind of thing that gives you an idea that he could be mindful of that. The intentional walk issued to David Ortiz. Johnny Gomes, who has been on base all 3 times, 2 walks and a single in between. He opened the 4th with a base hit, and that led to the first 3 runs. It's now 4-0 Boston. Gomes bats against Oviedo and takes the ball. 1. Three runs charged to Bedard today, nothing to Boxberger, and now 1 to Oviedo. Gomes fouls it out of play. 1 and 2. Fastball is wide. It's 2 and 2.
Well, and it won't be too long before shadows start to come into play here. You can see him creeping up behind Johnny Gomes. That could make things even more difficult.
Yeah, pitchers can't wait for that.
Oh boy.
Swing and a miss. Gomes out on strikes. Second strikeout of the inning for Oviedo. 2 gone with 2 men on.
Oviedo needed no help here. Just that pitch right out there. Out over the plate. Johnny Gomes at the swing comes up empty. 2 outs here for the Rays in the 7th.
Now Alex Hassan, who singled and scored in the 4th inning, is the hitter. He is 1 for 3. Inside, down around his feet, a little higher than that. 1 ball, no strikes. Ten hits total in this game. The Red Sox have 6 of them. It's wide, 2-0. They also have drawn 6 bases on balls. Now it's a 3-0 count. Inning opened on the leadoff walk to Brock Holt. He stole second and has scored a run. And ball 4 is too high. That will load the bases. Hassan takes over at first. Bases are loaded. Jim Hickey trots to the mound. David Ross is the scheduled hitter. Inside the Rays, a look at James Loney follows our coverage here on Sun Sports after Rays Live. The edition of Inside the Rays featuring Rays first baseman James Loney. So they're loaded again, and Ross steps in.
You got no place to put Ross. You cannot let Boston anything else. Already up 4. Oviedo's got to find his way back into that strike zone, and they're in a hurry.
Cut and a miss by Ross. Strike 1.
Man, an awkward swing. Awkward swing on a changeup there from Oviedo. Just darts underneath David Ross's bat, and a good start here, 0-1.
One and one.
Oviedo has got very good stuff. His delivery can become violent, and so he's got to really have everything on time and in rhythm to consistently throw strikes. That's the key for him.
And he picks up the zone around the knees. He's up in the count, 1-2.
That's the changeup that you're looking for. 83 and well located. Good action on that pitch. Look at that spot. Yeah, those aren't fun.
Takes it to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, it's been a 30-pitch inning here for Oviedo, of which only 12 have been strikes. And now he's going to go full on Ross.
And you're not going to get the borderline pitch. I mean, he's now below 40% strikes.
Yep.
31 pitches, 12 strikes.
Yeah, you're not going to get any breaks with that ratio.
No. And usually you're not going to get many outs.
The 3-2. Line drive right at Longoria to retire the side. 1 run scores. 3 men left on base. We're through 7. 4-0 Boston. Tampa Bay Rays and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Tampa Bay Rays. Pleasant afternoon at Fenway Park in Boston. The temperature 63 degrees when this game started, up to 65 right now. Edward Mujica will come in to replace John Lester, who worked the first 7, and he was very good.
Thankfully, he's out of this game. This is the best news that the Rays have had all day long, is getting Lester out of that game with 7 innings and 12 punch-outs. He's going to turn it over to Mujica, 21st appearance for him.
And Ben Zobrist, the top of the Rays lineup, will lead it off against Mujica. 112 pitches for Lester. 1 walk, 12 strikeouts. No runs on 4 hits through 7 innings. Hit a man and threw a wild pitch. And a base hit lined into right off the bat of Ben Zobrist. So the Rays put the leadoff man on for the 2nd straight inning. The only 2 innings they've done that today.
Yeah, except this inning they have a chance. Lester's out of the game.
He's out of the game.
You got the top of the lineup up there, Ben Zobrist. That's what he does when he's going well. He works good at bats. That one he just went right after Mujica, but gets on base quite a bit.
Mujica was in the game for 2/3 of an inning here Friday night. 1 ball, no strikes. The count to Jennings.
Now look at Desmond Jennings. Look at the amount of room he has to work with on the right side of that infield.
And he's going to bunt and misses it. And we could see that shadow with the peak of the grandstand crowding the home plate area now.
Yeah, it's not going to be too much longer before that starts to move out between the pitcher's mound and home plate. That's where it becomes difficult for the hitter when it gets out into that range that they have to make a decision on whether to swing or not.
Well, you can only imagine. I mean, when you're trying to visualize and pick up something in the sun, and on its way there, it travels into the shadows. Good luck.
And when it gets out to that point where it's going from sun to shadow at decision time, I mean, really good luck.
A 2-ball, 2-strike count to Jennings. Grant Balfour up in the Rays bullpen. Andrew Miller, the tall lefty, on the hill in the bullpen for Boston. A foul ball. The count will remain 2-2. Zucchini not doing any umpiring himself. He's making that play. But it's a foul. So Zobrist back to first. And a 2-2 count remains on Jennings. A little bit wide. So it's a full count. Well, the Rays have managed to stay close enough where if they get a couple base runners, they have a chance.
You got the right part of the lineup coming up. You got a full count here. Desmond should get something to hit.
And he draws a walk. First 2 men are on. So this is exactly what the Rays are looking for now that Lester's out of the game. They need base runners, and they have 2 of them with nobody out in the 8th. And Evan Longoria about to step in. See, Evan just 4 at bats against Mujica, not a lot to show for it. 3 strikeouts.
So you're saying he's due?
He would be due.
That's what I'm hearing.
A pitch outside.
Mojica just has no command of the strike zone. And then Zobrist greeted him with a quick base hit and then started nibbling to Desmond Jennings, walking him, falling behind Longoria. It's a dangerous way to pitch.
It's a foul ball back. 1-1. Mojica had 37 saves last year for the Cardinals in 65 appearances, but no semblance of that here so far. He gave up only 5 walks in 64 2/3 innings for the Cardinals last year.
And that's exactly what you need coming out of the bullpen, especially coming out of the bullpen with game on the line. Closer, setup guy, cannot be walking guys. That walk to Desmond Jennings, huge for the Rays' comeback chances. That's what you can't have.
1-2. Ground ball to third. Scoop. Zucchini steps on the bag and throws to first. And the Red Sox get the double play.
You've got to be kidding me. That was a nice play by Zucchini, and there was one split second there where he was thinking, let's go for the triple play. He was thinking about throwing this high curveball, and Zucchini steps on third, is thinking about second. Right here, forget it, goes over to first and completes the double play. Well done.
So a double play ball off the bat of Evan Longoria leaves Jennings alone on the bases. He's at second. And Jerry Sands, 3 strikeouts in 3 at-bats today for Sands. Pitch is outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Now to play, 1-1. Mojica. See the frustration of Longoria there in the Rays dugout. Rays right now 10 games back of the Toronto Blue Jays. They have won today. Mark Burley wins his 10th. Yankees lost today. The Twins in New York scored 6 in the 9th to overcome a 2-1 deficit and beat New York 7-2. Phil Hughes won that game at Yankee Stadium. He's now 6-1. Ground ball to short. Bogart's throw is dropped at first by Holt, and the Rays are still alive. So Sands reaches safely. That's why you run out the ground ball.
You're absolutely right. Rays given a little bit of life here. Routine looks like it's going to be an ending ground ball. Bogart's low throw. Brock Holt, he just clanks it. Desmond Jennings realizing too late that that ball was rattling around. He's going to have to stay at third.
So first and third. Sean Rodriguez takes a big cut, comes up empty. Strike 1.
Sean Rodriguez, who had a couple misadventures out in left field today, could make up for that right here.
An error on the first baseman, Brock Holt, giving the Rays another shot in the 8th. Quickly down in the count. Sean Rodriguez behind 0-2.
That late little action right there by Mojica, taking it right to the corner. Pitchers have been peppering that outside corner against the righties all day long.
Goes out there wide. 1-2. And there is strike 3 call. Rodriguez caught looking. The Rays lead 2. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th with Boston leading the Rays 4-0.
Bottom half of the 8th inning. Don't forget, tomorrow it's the start of a 2-game citrus series at Marlins Park, followed by the series continuing at Tropicana Field. We'll have Rays live with Rich Hollenberg and Orestes Estrada live in South Florida at Marlins Park as the Rays get ready for the Marlins. We'll have Fox Vision break down Giancarlo Stanton's bombs of a home runs as he has hit 5 450-foot-plus home runs this year, more than any team in baseball. That's on Rays Live, driven by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers tomorrow. Tonight, or this afternoon, I should say, coming up after the game, it's Rays Live presented by Checkers. You will hear from Joe Madden after this finale at Fenway Park, and we will also get player interviews, Dwayne and B.A. with their thoughts, and Rich and O will be hosting that show as well. Rays Live presented by Checkers after the game, guys.
All right, well, here we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Grant Balfour makes his 21st appearance. Well, you get to a point where the closer needs some work. And the Rays down here. First pitch hit on the ground by Bradley Jr. Forsythe throws him out. Jackie Bradley Jr. 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. First man retired in the 8th. Jonathan Herrera.
Yeah, it's been far too long for Grant Balfour to get into a game that had meaning for his particular inning. And this still could if he throws up a 0. The Rays have a great comeback in the 9th, but have seen far too little of Grant lately.
Pitch is a strike to Herrera. Koji Uehara up in the bullpen. Rays have stayed within striking distance, but they are 4 back right now. 4-0 ball game. An 0-2 count on Herrera. Orioles had a big 6th inning in Houston to build a 9-1 lead on the Astros. Blue Jays have won. There's strike 3 call. Herrera out on strikes. Blue Jays have won, the Yankees have lost, and the Orioles have a big lead in the 6th.
Well, Dwayne, early in the game, we surmised that the balls down borderline were not getting called, but he was calling the strike zone wide. Was that going to be the case all day? And it certainly looks like, at least away from hitters, that has been the way that this game has played out. And pitchers, to their credit, have taken full advantage of that wide zone.
Word spreads quickly. There's a strike. Brock Holt has been on base all 4 times. 3 doubles for Holt today and a walk. He has 2 runs batted in, a stolen base, and a run scored. Takes it into left, and that ball misplayed by Sean Rodriguez, reaching for it, and it just wasn't there. And into second goes Brock Holt. Been a tough afternoon for Sean in left field.
Yeah, he's had a really bad one out there. A couple of balls near the wall, one that looked to be under control that he dove for, and then a line drive here to try to end the inning, and he just whiffed it. Those are not easy plays, but those are plays that we've seen Sean Rodriguez make before. In fact, he had an unbelievable play he made in last night's game out at second base. Normally a pretty good defender, but it's been a forgettable one for Sean today.
Bogarts, that goes as a double for Holt, and now Holt will go to third with this pitch winding up at the base of the stands.
Now it's just getting sloppy. A breaking ball by Balfour, and Solis, well, he kind of whiffs this one too, and ball's down, and he just misses it right through the 5-hole. That'll cost you 90 feet.
So a pass ball there, charged to Solis. Holt now at third. It's 4 doubles for Holt today. High fly ball deep to left, down the line. That's a foul ball. Bogarts had home run distance, but it was foul. Bogarts comes back to the plate after making a bid for his 4th home run of the year. And now time called as John Farrell comes out. They're going to have a little conference. Ted Barrett, the crew chief, comes in from third with E.J. Rayburn. And so they're going to go check to see if that was fair or foul. And Joe Maddon's, I think, probably wondering about the timing of all this.
Yeah, well, I know that when you're going to challenge a play, if the next play has started, the pitcher gets on the rubber and it's ready to go, it's no longer a challengeable call. But with home runs, you can go out and say, hey, was that close? And if it was, I think Joe is wanting to get some clarity on that.
So Joe talks it over with Ted Barrett. Now there's Balfour on the mound, batter in the box, and you see John Farrell come wandering out of the dugout.
If this was a traditional challenge, you wouldn't be allowed to do it at that point. At least you shouldn't be allowed to do it by rule. Home run, they're handling it differently. Scoring play.
So they're going to take a look. Xander Bogaerts hit this one down the left field side with home run distance, and certainly appeared to be a foul ball. John Farrell asking for the review. Red Sox already lead 4-0. And let's see what we have to take another look at this. Very top of the foul pole. And they have finally determined here that it's a foul ball. So Bogaerts is back in. 3:13 on the review to see whether that ball was indeed foul. Determined that it was. It's foul out of play. So Holtz at third with 2 outs, and the count now advancing to 1-2 on Bogaerts. Foul ball. Balfour in here. And get some work. Balfour worked on the Sunday game at Tropicana Field against the Red Sox. Making his first appearance on this road trip.
Well, it's been a winless road trip. I mean, feelings about this Rays team so high just a week ago, coming off a sweep of the Red Sox. They'd won 4 straight and immediately run into the buzzsaw that are the Toronto Blue Jays right now. In that period of time, Boston had turned things around, and the Rays have seen that firsthand.
Another foul ball, holding the count at a ball, 2 strikes. Bogaerts 0 for 4 with a couple strikeouts in this game. He has been very hot at the plate. Pitch down as he finally takes a pitch. Aaron Cicchini on deck. And a 2-2 count to Bogaerts. '21-year-old infielder Bogaerts, and a cut and a miss. He is out on strikes, so Lee's tagging him, and so that'll take care of Boston. In the 8th, we go to the 9th. Rays down by 4. Rays are down. Star Trek night, Friday, June 6th. So join Captain Joe J. Madden and the rest of the Rays Enterprise as they take on the Mariners. Purchase the special ticket package and get a seat in the press level and the Star Trek themed shirt. For tickets, visit raysbaseball.com/special events. Well, Koji Uehara is the new pitcher. The closer, he follows Lester's 7 innings of excellent baseball out there. Mujica pitched the 8th, and now Uehara here in the 9th.
Yeah, and not a safe situation, but we're seeing more and more managers do this.
Forsythe, a big cut and a miss, strike 1.
You know, they will treat that 4-run lead as a safe situation. Uehara is not going to get credit for that if he does indeed close this game out. Well, we see more and more of that, and this is as good as you can bring in the game right now.
Forsythe quickly behind, 0-2.
Now he works quickly. He throws strikes. You saw 11 for 11 in saves. You saw, strikeout to walk ratio of 11-1. And he's quick to the plate with his delivery. Works the fastball up at the top of the zone with a split that he can break a couple of different ways.
And he takes care of Forsythe on 3 pitches. Forsythe out number 1 in the 9th.
Never broke 90. Never broke 90 and was right out over the plate. And this pitch right here was 88, and he just powers it right by Logan Forsythe for out number 1.
Uehara is about as youthful at 39 as you will see. He was 39 in early April. And now he faces James Loney. Strike to Loney. So he comes in here, throws 4 consecutive strikes. And just missed on that pitch. Very close.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how. That looked like a pretty good pitch.
Strike 1 and 2. And a liner right back into Uehara's glove. Line drive off the bat of Loney and right back in to the right-hander's glove.
I mean, come on, really. This is the way that it's been going for the Rays, and Loney does a nice job in anticipating the split finger. He gets it, he puts a good swing on it, and that's how he's rewarded. That ball found him.
Two gone here in the 9th inning. Escobar takes the pitch for a strike. Fly ball lifted into left center. That's Gomes, and this game is over. Rays are up and down in order in the 9th. 1, 2, 3. And the Red Sox finish off the sweep of this 3-game series over the Rays. A 4-0 final Lester will get the win, Bedard the loss. Back with the totals in a moment.